Good morning everybody. Welcome to everybody. Today I am going to explain you all the chapters of biology. You know, in CBSE we have only 6 chapters. One chapter is eliminated. So now leftover is 5 chapters, and all that 5 chapters I'll make you in 1 hour in your fingertips. You will not miss any questions. I'll make you practice in every chapter. Okay. RBC education 004. Come on my friends. Come on my students. Let's rock now. Let's see. So first, in the beginning, we know we have 5 chapters. What are the 5 chapters that we have? Life process. I will discuss what are the things that are going to come in life process, and I will discuss some points too. And then we will go for the second chapter, that's control and coordination. Then control and coordination. Then we will go for next chapter, that is human reproduction. How do organisms reproduce? So we'll know about all the organisms as well as human beings. How do they reproduce? And then we'll go for heredity and evolution. Oh my god, evolution, that is eliminated. So we have only heredity. We will know about that heredity chapter. Oh yeah. And then we'll go for the last chapter, that is called environment, our environment. Okay, but natural resource, management of natural resource is eliminated, so that we have already done in our portfolio things. So let's rock my friends, let's rock my students. Tomorrow when we write exam, we should do our best. Subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed, and let's start our chapter. The first chapter is life process. You can see life process. Life process includes all the metabolic activities, oxidation and reduction reactions. Every reaction that you say are either oxidation or reduction reactions. Now let's see further what points are present. There are 5 steps that we are studying in life process. We are going to study nutrition. There are 2 types of nutrition. One is called autotropic nutrition and another is called heterotropic nutrition. When we are saying autotropic nutrition, we know plants, they can prepare their own food. Do you think it means like my mom prepared food? No, it's not that. My mom is just mixing the ingredients and giving you. But how then? What then? It must be like the plants take carbon dioxide to water, and in presence of sunlight, with the help of chlorophyll pigment, they prepare from inorganic substance into starch. That's what is nutrition means. Autotropic nutrition means. Yes, I think now you are clear what is autotropic nutrition. They can prepare their food, whereas there are other 2 types of nutrition too, my dear students. What are the other 2 types of nutrition then? Other 2 types of nutrition, that is parasitic nutrition and saprophytic nutrition. Parasitic nutrition, oh my god, parasites in our head. There are so many parasites. Sticks and louses are present in our head and they eat us. Oh my gosh, this is not good. So this is type of nutrition which causes us lot of diseases. That is parasitic nutrition. We know bacteria, virus, these all things are parasites and they live in our body and they eat us. That's what they cause us disease, right? So that's what is called as parasitic nutrition. And whereas saprophytic nutrition, you know about saprophytic nutrition, they are called natural scavengers. That means if these saprophytes are not present, then this whole world would be like, dead bodies, everywhere dead bodies. Our ancestors from the beginning till now all would be here, and we would have constructed the buildings with the help of dead bodies. Oh my gosh, thank God. Saprophytic nutritions are present, saprophytes are present. They eat away all these dead bodies and clean the environment naturally, and that's why they are called as natural scavengers. I hope you understood what are saprophytes and what is type of saprophytic nutrition. They depend upon dead and decaying organic matter for their food, and that's example is fungus. All fungus, there are thousands and thousands of fungus. There are more than human beings. There are fungus, different varieties of fungus. Among them 1 or 2 you can give as example. Rhizopus, yes. Okay, now next type of nutrition, that is called as holozoic nutrition, and that nutrition we can see holozoic nutrition in amoeba. Yes, we can see in amoeba, and then we can see in yes, human being. Many organisms have holozoic nutrition. Let's discuss on autotropic nutrition first of all. Autotropic nutrition is a type of nutrition where plants prepare their food by themselves by using carbon dioxide, water and minerals in presence of sunlight with the help of green green color pigment called chlorophyll. And you know why the plants are green? Totally, you see the environment is green. The reason behind that is there are so many chloroplasts. Inside chloroplast there is a pigment called chlorophyll, because of which so the whole thing is green in color. I hope you are now clear why the plants are so green in color, right? Yes, of course. Now autotropic nutrition means what and who can do it? Only plants. Which plants? Only green plants can do it. Other plants, no, they cannot do autotropic nutrition. They can just go for parasitic nutrition. Yes, you know, nepenthes, and there are so many more plants. They are called insectivorous plants because they go for parasitic nutrition, whereas green plants who can trap the sunlight and prepare their food. You know, autotropic nutrition. In this autotropic nutrition, you can find so many things. Okay, let's see now what are the points. We have only two steps. That is, you can say light phase and another as dark phase. In autotropic nutrition, we can just see that there is a photosynthesis. You know photosynthesis, what does that mean? Photosynthesis means preparing the food by use of sunlight. That's why we are calling the same thing as photosynthesis. And in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide, 6 carbon dioxide, 12 water molecules in presence of sunlight with the help of green color pigment called chlorophyll. We get a glucose or starch molecule, and then oxygen is released in the environment, which cleans the environment along with some water. 6 molecules of water. So you need to correct this equation, my friends. And now let's go for the other points. Let's see what is going on. Here we know the steps of photosynthesis. We can divide into light phase and dark phase. You know, light phase and dark phase means light phase includes which includes just 2 steps, or let's say 3 steps, and dark phase includes 1 step. Light phase occurs where? It occurs in the grana. What is that grana? Grana means inside a chloroplast there is a structure called as grana. Inside that only there is, inside the thylakoid there is a space called grana, and in that only what happens? Light phase occurs because the pigments are present there only. Whereas when we talk about light phase, what are the steps? You can see absorption of light by green color pigment called chlorophyll, conversion of light energy to chemical energy, splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen, whereas oxygen is released outside, whereas hydrogen is further broken down into protons and electrons, which will be used for preparing the ATP and NADPH2. I think we heard about ATP and NADPH2. They are the energy currency of our body. You know, like currency, we go for the market for buying so many things like that. Here ATP is a currency, but what about NADPH2? It is also a currency, but it is like an ATM. You know, ATM we cannot use everywhere. We have to convert that into money and then only use it. Similarly, here also NADPH has to be converted to ATP to use it, right? Yes, of course. Now the last step, what is that? That is called as dark phase. Why is that happen in the dark? No, it does not happen in dark. It happens only after light phase. Whatever the products the light phase gives, by utilizing them, the dark phase happens. What the product they give? They give ATP, yes, ATP and NADPH, and using that ATP and NADPH, here the dark phase continues. Yes, it might be in day, it might be in night, does not matter. Only the products of light phase are required here. And then the last step, that is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Yes, that's what the step is, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Yes, of course. Then the last step is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate, which is a very good step where we get the starch molecules. Yes, that's what our aim was for the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is done, which happens in the leaf. You can see the TS of the leaf where there are some pores called stomata from where the exchange of gases occurs. Let's see the leaves. You can see some green color, some blue color spots. What does that mean? Green color and blue color spots. That means we can use to taste the starch, presence of starch, whether the photosynthesis really happened or did not happen by using iodine test. We are using iodine in the green leaf so that it will turn to blue-black. If it is turning to blue-black, that means iodine, that means starch is prepared. And if it is not turning, then starch is not there. That's what the test is. That's called iodine test. That is done to test whether the photosynthesis is happening or not. That means starch is making or not. We can test for the starch. That's what it is. You can just see these leaves, open and which is closed. Even the parts is very important. They will ask you to label it. You can see here KOH. What does that mean? here this is also for testing whether the photosynthesis is happening or not. What we do is we put our plant with the KOH. When we are putting the plant with the KOH is absorbed by carbon dioxide. It reacts with the carbon dioxide. When it reacts with the carbon dioxide, what happens? There is no carbon dioxide inside the bell jar. When there is no carbon dioxide inside the bell jar, what will happen? There is no photosynthesis. Now you test for the blue-black color with the help of iodine, and you don't find anything. Why? Because there was no photosynthesis. That is what the KOH functions here. It is removing KOH. KOH is removing carbon dioxide from that environment. So that is what it is, KOH, in this experiment. To understand, photosynthesis happens in presence of carbon dioxide. Points. Here you see now heterotropic nutrition. We already discussed about heterotropic nutrition, right? What? We talked about heterotropic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition and parasitic nutrition, and also I was discussing a little bit about holozoic nutrition. You can see in amoeba which type of nutrition is happening. It's happening holozoic nutrition. That means, what is holozoic nutrition? In holozoic nutrition, the organisms will engulf the food like a parasite. The whole food is taken. That's why it's called holozoic nutrition. Whole food is taken without breaking it, and that's what is called as holozoic nutrition. You can see in amoeba what is happening. Holozoic nutrition, it is extending its food pseudopodia, covering the food, digesting it, and throwing the waste out, and that's what is called as holozoic nutrition in amoeba. You can divide that into few steps. Digestion, first is nutrition, ingestion, then digestion, absorption, then assimilation, then excretion. That's what holozoic nutrition completes. Same points you can use for human being also if you want to write the steps, because both of them are holozoic nutrition. Let's learn some parts of human digestive system. Here you can see in the mouth, human being mouth, there is a buccal cavity. I have labeled that. You can just check buccal cavity. This is the open space, and next the food is mixed thoroughly with the salivary juice, amylase, and it is moved to esophagus with the help of a movement called peristalsis movement. Understand what is peristalsis movement? It's wave-like movement of the food in the food pipe or in esophagus, and then it reaches to stomach. You can see in the stomach the food is digested. For how many hours? 3 to 4 hours it is digested. 3 to 4 hours it is kept in the stomach for digestion. There are so many enzymes and acids produced. The main acid is HCl, which activates all the enzymes, as well as it also digests some food. That's what is the HCl. The environment is totally acidic. It kills the microbes present in the stomach. And then we have glands, liver and pancreas. What does they do? They help in producing some bile salts as well as enzymes which digest our food. Yes, there we can see these all in human digestion. Let's know about dental caries. What does the dental caries mean? Dental caries means, our tooths, we have so much enamel present. Due to dental caries, the bacteria starts eating our enamel and it gets problem, and that's what is called as dental caries. Let's know about respiration. Respiration, what does it mean? Taking in of air and throwing out of carbon dioxide is not respiration, it's called breathing. Whereas respiration means, respiration includes 3 steps. So let's say 2 steps. What is aerobic and anaerobic? In presence of oxygen and in absence of oxygen. This is just opposite of photosynthesis. You can say that. Yes, this is just opposite of photosynthesis. Here you can say what is happening. We are taking oxygen and throwing out carbon dioxide. So over here there are a few steps. You can see the glucose molecule is broken down into pyruvic acid in cytoplasma, whereas after that the pyruvic acid can go to oxidation or in presence of oxygen, or it can go in absence of oxygen. If it is going in presence of oxygen, then we can call that as aerobic respiration. The result is carbon dioxide, water, and lot of energy. Whereas if it is not having any oxygen, then it will go for anaerobic respiration, which might be lactic acid fermentation or maybe ethyl alcohol fermentation, either ways. So if it is ethyl alcohol is the outproduct, that means that is happening in the yeast. Whereas if it is happening in the muscle cells, then that is called as lactic acid fermentation. Yes, of course, we understand now what does that means. Now let's understand the next points about respiration. Here the respiration output is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. You can see that is what the energy molecule that is required for our metabolic activities of our body, and that is it will happen in the that metabolic activities that happen. Where does it happen? It happens during respiration in mitochondria. Let's see the structure of the lungs. What is happening in the lungs? Yes, in lungs you can see there are two lungs in our body, and you can see there are some balls like structures called as alveoli, and they are the site for exchange of gases. These will help us to take oxygen into the blood and throw out carbon dioxide from the blood. Let's understand a little bit about transportation. Transportation means transportation means the movement of the molecules in our body, which is mostly helpful with the help of heart. Human heart, it contains right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle and left ventricle, and that's what it is. The heart is a pumping organ which pumps the blood to all parts of the body. That's it transports. That is what is transportation means. And during transportation circulation, that the heart is the vital organ in our body. We have so many problems like blood pressure and that all. That's because of this having very bad food habits and the environment which is getting polluted day by day. So we should be taking care more. Okay, so here you can see double circulation is present in the heart. Any topic if you want in detail, you can go for the other videos which I have made for you, especially I made for you. You can just go on because I have completed all those topics that I'm talking over here. This is just a briefing of all the topics. Okay, so after this we can see blood pressure. What does the blood pressure means? When there is ventricular systole or contraction, at the time the pressure is high in our blood, and that's what is called as high blood pressure. That is 120. And when it is relaxed, ventricles get relaxed, at that time the pressure is low in our blood, and that's what it is, 80 mm of Hg. I mean to say blood vessels. Okay, obviously it is arteries. So that's what is blood vessels. That blood pressure means it can be measured by using these different electronic gadgets that are present nowadays. That's used. Yes, ECG is used for measuring the heart pulse, and so many more things. Okay, now let's go with the other portion of this. Blood pressure, I hope you are very clear. About 80 is when it is relaxed, the ventricles are relaxing, and whereas 120 is when the ventricles are contracting. And if it is more, then it is called high blood pressure. There are so many problems due to that. And if it is low, then it is called low blood pressure. Then there are also so many problems. So we should maintain our heart blood pressure, and that can be done only by doing regular exercise, good food, regular exercise, good food and good sleep. If we have these things, then obviously everything will be in balance. And if you are taking some intoxicants, then there is no control. Anything can happen. So be careful, my lovely students. You are going to rock so your exams. Let's see about blood vessels. There are arteries and veins and capillaries. Arteries one side, veins one side, and capillaries. What happens? What are arteries? Arteries are those blood vessels which are taking away our blood from heart. From heart, if it is taking to all body, then it's called as arteries. Except pulmonary arteries, all others are taking pure blood, whereas pulmonary arteries are taking impure blood to the lungs so that it gets purified and brought back to the heart. Similarly, if you talk about veins, they are the blood vessels that bring blood to the heart. Except pulmonary veins, all other bring impure blood. So that's what you understand. Now let's understand about transportation in plants. Transportation in plants, what does it mean? There is no heart, no lymph, no nothing. So it is very difficult. Let's understand before that lymph. Lymph means it is a leaked blood from the capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels that is connected to one side with the arteries, one side with the veins. So in between there are minute blood vessels which are called capillaries. From there only what happens? Blood gets leaked, and that leaked blood contains a lot of nutrients, lot of antibodies which gives us immunity. So many more things are present in the blood, and then that is called lymph. Okay, it is also fluid connecting tissue which is present in intercellular space, which is connecting the muscles and the bones. Okay, that's about lymph. Now let's come with the other portion, that is transportation in plants. When we talk about transportation in plant, there are two things to be transported mostly. One is water and another is food. Water is transported with the help of xylem, and food with the help of phloem. You can check out my videos where I have talked about that in March. Okay, xylem and phloem. Xylem carries water with the help of one process called transpiration. Transpiration pull, that means water is pumped up in huge trees. You can see the huge trees where the water is pumped up due to evaporation of water on the top. If it is happening a lot, then the plant might die because of wilting the plant. Yes, the water is lost from the body. Yes, obviously it will die. So it should have unlimited content, and that's what it happens during transpiration. I hope you understood what is transpiration means. Taking evaporation of water from the surface of the leaf due to excess heat. That's called transpiration. And food. What about the food? Food is by the phloems. Phloem cells or tissue helps in transportation of phloem tissue helps in transportation of food to different parts of the body. Yes, let's understand excretion in human being. Excretion means not throwing out the digested food. It is not the real excretion. Real excretion means in our body there are thousands of reactions, and every reaction has an waste product, and that has to be eliminated from our body. Mostly the waste products are ammonia, urea and uric acid, and this ammonia, urea and uric acid makes multiple organ failure in our body if they are collected in different parts. Maybe thousands of diseases comes up. So we need to drink lot of water, timely sleep, and do exercise and meditate so that we become healthy. That's what is the main tip. Okay, so let's see what are the parts we see in excretion in human being. We have a pair of kidneys. You can see a pair of kidneys and two ureters, and then you can see one urinary bladder and then urethra. That's what the urine is. That means blood is cleaned, purified, and it is thrown out with the help of units present inside the kidney. They are called as nephrons. In nephrons, you can see the blood is coming and then it is getting filtered and it is being thrown out, and that is what is nephrons function. It is filtering the nitrogenous waste. What are nitrogenous waste? Ammonia, urea and uric acid. Ammonia, it's a highly toxic substance, so a lot of water is required. So those organisms which are present in the water, they can do it. Whereas when talk about urea, we all are ureotelic organisms. That means we throw out urine, so we need minimum amount of water. We need to drink every frequently water so that we can throw out this nitrogenous waste out of our body so that we be fit and healthy, right? Then the last one is uric acid, which some organisms have adapted because it is least toxic. They don't need any water to be taken externally, whereas whatever the food they eat, they absorb the water, and that is enough for them to excrete. So we might have seen about agama. What is that? That is wall lizard, which does never drink water. Like mouse, they don't drink water. They go for uric acid excretion, the pellets, the solid uric acid, right? Now let's know about artificial kidney. You know, if both the kidneys get damaged, then we need to go for hemodialysis, or let's say artificial kidney. Artificial kidney means, you know, nothing. It's tubes and it is a filtrate, and it's actually contains all the similar content of the blood, which is called as dialysis fluid, and that dialysis fluid is going in, and then blood is coming in, and then what is happening? It is getting filtered and nitrogenous waste is removed, and then filtered blood is taken in. But you know, in the beginning, if you take out blood like that, then it gets solidified. So in order to not to get solidified, we have to add heparin, a chemical called heparin, which will not allow to get solidified, and then after completing the job, it has to go back with the help of adding antiheparin, and that's what it is done. This is called artificial kidney, or you can say hemodialysis, which is done nowadays frequently because our food habits are not that good, right? Yes, of course, we should be very careful. Excretion in plants, it does not have any particular organs, but you know, with the help of stomata, it throws out the carbon dioxide and takes in the oxygen that we know. That means it is helping in throwing out the carbon dioxide. Like that, there are some vacuoles, some cells which will be deposited in the leaves, and that leaves will be fallen down, and that's what it will excrete. Some of the portion is excreted with the help of roots also. Let's know some questions. The kidney in the human beings are for nutrition, respiration, excretion. Yes, it must be excretion. I know the answer. Xylem in plants are responsible for. Xylem means water. Yes, no food, no amino acid, no oxygen. It's water. Yes, transport of water. And when autotropic mode of nutrition, I think carbon dioxide, water is required, chlorophyll required. Yeah, all of the above. I understood the answer. Autotropic mode of nutrition happens in all of the above. Breakdown of pyruvic acid to give carbon dioxide and water. Breakdown of pyruvic acid to give carbon dioxide and water. Cytoplasma. So no, it is formation of pyruvic acid. Mitochondria. Yeah, mitochondria. The answer is mitochondria. It's not chloroplast. It's mitochondria. It's not nucleus. So these are some of the questions of objective which is going to come in your exam. Yes, of course, the questions that are present behind your textbook, they are only most important. All the questions you study of all the chapters, and you are going to do the best, right? So obviously you are going to do the best. There is no doubt. No need to go for all reference and all things. Okay. Now other questions are also there. If any questions you want to be explained more properly, I'm there for you, okay? Or else let's go with the new chapter that is called control and coordination. Control and coordination, it includes two things, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. When we say central nervous system, it's brain, as well as and spinal cord. These two are central nervous system, whereas other peripheral nervous system means all the nerves that are arising from the brain and spinal cord, they are called as peripheral nervous system. So there are two systems only. One is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord, whereas peripheral nervous system consists of peripheral nervous system consists of brain, the nerves arising from the brain and the nerves arising from spinal cord. Nerves arising from brain are called as spinal nerve. The nerves arising from brain are called cranial nerve, whereas the nerves arising from spinal cord is called spinal nerves. Now let's see nervous system in human being. That's because of neurons. Neurons are the basic units of brain or spinal cord. That means in our brain and spinal cord there are billions of neurons, and neurons are three types, one having with so many dendrites and one axon, that's called multipolar neuron, which we are seeing in this, whereas another is called bipolar neuron, have one dendrite and one axon, whereas one more only having one axon, which is called as unipolar neuron. Let's understand. Here you can see that some sensory cells can absorb the signal and pass to the axon cell body, and from there to axon, and then axon to the dendrite. So in that way the signals are passed. Reflex action means what? Suddenly if somebody removes your hand from any hot objects, or if you get a flash of light on your eye, then you just go off, and that's what it happens, and that is what is called as reflex action. Why is that happening? Because there are some signals going to your brain, spinal cord, and spinal cord is sending back signal immediately before reaching to the brain, because it might get damaged, it might get trouble. So in order to avoid you from that trouble, what does it do? It removes your hand from that hot object so that it does not get burned much. Later your brain will understand, yes, it is because of this. That's what it is called as reflect action, and the pathway of reflect action is called reflect arc. The pathway means you need to say receptor cells or effector cells that will go to sensory neuron, then relay neuron, then motor neuron, then effector cells, and that's what this pathway is called as reflect arc. So if you understand this much, it's done, my dear students, it's done. So this is what is reflect action. Now let's go with the other topics. There are so many topics to be discussed, and I'm going to discuss today all the topics at once. So within 1 hour you will be knowing, you will having grip on your subject, totally grip on your subject, so you will not have to do anything else, and you are going to get very good marks. There is no doubt in it. Okay, let's know about the brain. In human brain, when we talk of human brain, it is very complicated. Till now it has not been studied much. We think lot. No, we haven't studied much. It's all depends upon what is our experience about it. So we understand we can divide this brain into 3 parts. Forebrain, which contains cerebellum, whereas another is called as midbrain, which contains thalamus region, whereas the hindbrain, which contains pons, medulla, and oblongata region. So these are the main parts of the brain. So forebrain helps in thinking, analyzing, analysis, memory, object, processing of eye, nose, mouth. All this happens in the forebrain, whereas midbrain, it has some portion of involuntary actions, whereas hindbrain completely organs. Visceral organs in our body, they are all controlled with the help of hindbrain. Yes, spinal cord is very important. Do not miss spinal cord. It is giving us reflect action work, right? Yes, let's know about tissue. Okay, tissue, about some of the tissue protected. Okay, it is tissue here. It is protected by there are meninges in our brain, and there is a cranial box in our head which is protecting our tissue. Let's go with the other thing, control and coordination in the plants. It's obviously control and coordination in plants is not that good like in animals, like in human beings or animals. Control and coordination in plants might be taking place with a lot of mechanical action that might be called nastic movement, or it might be due to growth and direction, which is called as tropic movement. If you are talking about nastic movement, then there is no growth and no direction, whereas there's just a mechanical movement due to water in and water out. Whereas when we talk about tropic movement, then there is a growth and there is a direction. When we are telling there is a growth and direction, then that is called as tropic movement. Suppose if it is growing toward the sun, then it is called a phototropic, and if it is going against the sun, then it is called negative phototropic. If it is going toward the earth, then it is called positive geotropic, and if it is going opposite of the earth, then it is called negative geotropic. So positive, negative, you can add that, and you can add the object of in front, like photo means light, geo means earth, hydro means water. So in that way you can go for so many tropic movement. So if you are talking about this, it is called thigmotropic movement. Thigmotropic movement. And touch, it is thigmotropic movement, right? You know, tendrils move, make rounds, and that's it. Thigmotropic movements. Yes, there is a growth as well as there is a direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Similarly, the plants you see here growing towards the sun and going toward the roots towards the earth, and that's what is called as phototropic and negative phototropic or positive geotropic movements. And control and coordination in plants also controlled by hormones, which are called as phytohormones, especially auxin. You can see auxin. Auxin is the one of the phytohormone which helps in development of roots and shoots, whereas gibberellin is also there, which helps in development of shoots. And whereas when we talk about cytokinin, then it helps in cell division. So these are the points. As whereas there is negative phytohormone. What is negative phytohormone? That will help you to, when the fruits get matured, flowers get matured, then they get fall. How does they fall when they get matured? That's because of abscisic acid. If there is too much abscisic acid, then they will fall down. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, let's see. Wilting of the leaves happens due to abscisic acid. You know, abscisic acid, it's a negative phytohormone. Let's understand some questions. What are plant hormones? We know plant hormones are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins. They help in the control and coordination. How does the leaf or sensitive plant show towards the light? We know that phototropic movements. Then says give an example of plant hormone to promote growth. Auxins. Yes, auxins promote the growth of the tendrils around the support, which is called thigmotropic movement. Experiment to demonstrate the, yes, there are so many things. Let's understand some hormones in animals. You know, in animals there are some hormones, and that's are very important. You know, at least you learn the parts of the organ, different endocrine glands. Endocrine glands, that means they are produced directly in the blood without any glands. That's what is called endocrine glands. They don't have any duct. The glands do not have any duct. That's why they are called as endocrine glands. And here you can see hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus gland, and then pancreas. All these are endocrine glands. You can see all the things are same in male also, female also, male also, female also, male also, female also. But you see ovaries and testes, they are different in male and female. Ovaries are different in male, in female, as well as different in male. That is, male and female reproductive organs are different. That means in male it is testes, whereas in female it is ovaries. And that's what we see, ovaries and testes. In female it is ovaries and male it is testes. They are also actually endocrine glands. They are obviously, they have ducts. That's why they might be called as endocrine as well as exocrine, but not like that. Inside, if you see who are producing it, those producing cells are actually endocrine. Let's understand about them. They produce testosterone and progesterone. Progesterone and estrogen in female, whereas testosterone in male. So similarly, if you talk about other glands, they are adrenal gland. It is fight and flight organ, which is called fight and flight organ. Yes, adrenal gland is called fight and flight organ. Why? Because adrenal gland will help us to give emotions, like we are so much angry and we are so much happy, and that's because of adrenal gland. What does it do? It produces, and our heart palpitation increases. That's because of adrenal gland. So that's what is adrenaline controls, which is present on the kidney. That's why it is called adrenal gland. When we talk about pancreas, it controls your, it produces a hormone called, yes, it produces a hormone called insulin and glucagon, which controls the blood sugar. Similarly, if you talk about thymus, it is present near to the heart, and it also helps in maintaining your temperature, chemicals in your body, pigmentation in your body, all those things like that. Parathyroid hormone gland produce parathormone, which also controls calcium absorption. Similarly, thyroid gland also controls calcium absorption. Pituitary gland controls growth of our height. Some people are very height because of hyper release of the growth hormone, more release of the growth hormone. Whereas If it is low release of growth hormone, it is called dwarfism. The height is not growing at all, and that's what it is. If it is more or less, then there is a problem in our body. So let's understand some questions. Which of the following is a plant hormone? Here it is cytokinin, because insulin is produced by pancreas, thyroxine is produced by thyroid gland, estrogen is produced by ovaries. That's why our answer is cytokinin. The gap between the two neurons is called synapse. It's not dendrite, it's not axon, it's not impulse, it's called dendrites. Sorry, it's called synapse. Okay, so the gap between the two neurons is called synapse. So when the brain is responsible for thinking, yes, regulating the heartbeat, yes, balancing the body, yes, so all of the above is the answer. Yes, like that. There are so many questions over here. We can practice some of the questions to get good marks. Don't worry at all. Just understand these questions, answers, and you are going to get really good marks. Not there, we'll discuss again. Let's understand how do organisms reproduce. I had made already video. You can just go on, click that link, and then get your video, and you can really enjoy it. Okay, we have already discussed it in last class. We discussed only about this reproduction. Let's see. Yes, asexual reproduction. Yes, which takes place. Budding. It's called budding. Then the answer should be yeast. Yeast is the answer. I know it is yeast, not amoeba. Amoeba go for binary fission. Plasmodium goes for multiple fission. Leishmania goes for binary fission again, longitudinal binary fissions. That's why it's yeast. So which of the following is not a part of male reproductive system? It must be. So ovaries is female, uterus is female, and then fallopian tube is female. So our answer must be vas deferens. Yes. So the anther contains sepals. No, sepals are present in all ovules, carpels, pollen grains. Yes, anther contains pollen grains. What are the advantages of sexual reproduction? Yes, of course, variation is possible, whereas in asexual reproduction, less variation is possible. So we know what are the functions of performed testes. What are the functions performed by the testes? Well, helping in development of primary and secondary sexual characters. So what are the different methods? Yes, adopting contraceptives, about contraceptives and all these things you have to know. If you don't know, please tell me. Let's go with the new chapter that's called heredity. It's very important chapter. Heredity. Yes, accumulation of during reproduction. Yes, you know heredity because of DNA copying. I talked about heredity. All those characters which are coming from parents are called heredity character. Inheritance, the transfer of characters from parent to offspring, it's called inheritance. Okay, so you know these are all rules of inheritance. We have 3 laws. First law of dominance, second law of inheritance, and third law of independent assortment. And all these laws were given by Gregor John Mendel. Okay, he has given all the laws. We studied on pea plant, that is called Pisum sativum. And pea plant, he took capital T, and small t, 7 contrasting characters. All those 7 contrasting characters you need to know, my dear students. And then we'll go for further. So we know here there is monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Monohybrid cross where we see the transfer of single character from parents to offspring. Dihybrid cross, we see the transfer of 2 characters from parents to offspring. So we see sex determination. You know what is sex determination? We can identify male or female. How do we identify male or female? Based on sex determination, that is chromosomes. Father contains XY chromosomes, whereas mother contains XX chromosome. That's what we understand. That's what it is, sex determination. That's why we get 2 types of gametes in father, whereas in mother it's only 1 type of gametes, and that's what is called sex determination. So from there they give us gametes. I already discussed today in the class. You can understand that. Okay, then the gametes, what happened then? They fuse and form zygote, and zygote will develop into a body like our body. Yes, and that's what it is. One of the zygote contains all cells contain XX chromosome, all cells contains XY chromosome. So male contains XY chromosome. That's what we become male. Yes, I hope you are very clear about this. Now let's go about some questions. You can understand evolution is not there. It's removed from the syllabus. Let's understand natural resource. Ecosystem, it is the environment, is called ecosystem. Yes, what is ecosystem? An organism and its surrounding is called ecosystem. An organism. Some of the environment problems are ozone depletion, waste production, biodegradation and non-biodegradation. So best of luck. Do your exams very well.